Tesla illegally fired 2 workers for criticizing Elon Musk, according to new federal complaints. The workers were part of a larger group of Tesla discussing, and drafting letters critical of Elon Musk. One employee was told those discussions were an attack on Tesla. So basically, what these employees were doing is they were drafting a letter. They were complaining about the return to office order. Now, this is something that's been going on all over the country. A bunch of employees were told, hey, you got to come back to the office. You can't work remotely anymore. Now, study after study shows that remote workers are actually more productive. It's actually more productive to just work remotely. So some companies decided, hey, screw it. We're saving some money on office space. People like working remote. Great. Other companies, not so much. Well, why were some companies in the not so much category? Well, because all of the landlords and people who have office spaces, they didn't like that. So they rallied their friends over at Wall Street, and they rallied their Wall Street friendly publications to say, we got to get people back to the office. And of course, that's the side Elon Musk fell on. So they kind of wrote a letter critical of this. These 2 employees did. They were also critical of some of Elon's tweets, saying it was harassing. And I think even though the letter didn't even move forward, these 2 employees got fired anyway. So they got fired for very, very unjust cause. And we have a guest today who was also fired for a very, very unjust cause. He is an ex-Tesla employee. Please welcome to the show, Mamadou Diallo. Mamadou, how are you, man?
Good, Ron. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks for being here. So let's start with your story, and then we're going to get your take on some of the other happenings. But why were you fired?
I believe that I was fired in terms of, for retaliation reasons. I was costing the company a lot of money due to my medical issues, my disability. I developed epilepsy while I was working at Tesla in January of this year. After working there since the summer of 2021, I was in the store just doing my job, flying the Tesla flag, I'm not going to lie. And then I had a seizure. And next thing I know, I woke up in the hospital and I got diagnosed with epilepsy. And I had also a heart condition at the same time. They're trying to, I have a catheter insert here. They're trying to measure my abnormal heartbeat. So multiple things happen just like that. And I tried to get back to work ASAP, within a week, actually, even though I had a 3-month driving ban after you get a seizure in Maryland. So Tesla didn't really make that process easy at all. I had to prove that I had a disability to them. And then once I had that form sent in from the doctor, they completely rejected that. And then I had to resend another form to the doctor from the doctor, and they finally accepted that. But then they still didn't allow me to get back to work until freaking April. And I didn't get back pay at all. Didn't qualify for anything. And at the same time, I was getting threatened of being let go because Tesla's whole insane return to work policy, you have to keep excusing yourself. So it was just a firestorm. It was like they didn't want me to come back at all. So with that being said, I come back in April. I get a raise for performance reasons due to all the sales that I had before I had the seizure. And meanwhile, I also had a promotion in January. And then come June, you're fired within a day's notice. Yeah, wow. It was crazy.
So you had a seizure. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. I was fired for performance reasons. That's their reasoning for that. After being top salesman in the whole region the week prior, selling 12 cars. So ridiculous.
Wow. So you have a seizure at work, and you find out
Mm-hmm.
that you have epilepsy, and you find out you have a heart condition. Now you found out both those things at the same time.
Yep. Same time when I woke up, the doctors gave me an option. Do I come back to the doctor's office every week to get my heart checked, or do they insert a catheter, which is, they built it up to be way better than option B. So I chose the catheter right on the spot, and I watched them insert it. And it was happening quick. Yeah.
Well, first of all,
ridiculous.
Condolences and all the best to you, like all the best wishes. So you how did Tesla, like, make it difficult on you? Like, what were some of the things like, how did they just reject like, when they rejected it, like, what did they say? Did they not believe you? Or like, what like, walk me through that a little bit.
basically. So they deal with FMLA issues with another. They leave it to another company called I forgot their name right now. It's a lapse. But this other company deals with FMLA requests, leave and disability requests. So I hand in the doctor's note, and on the bottom of the doctor's note, there's a doctor's agreement. All the doctors in the building, there's a date there and signatures of all the doctors. And this date is from the previous year. So Tesla said that this date, interferes with the whole issue because it's not up to date. And I was like, but that's just the doctor's agreement on the building. It was some minute issue they had with that. So the doctor said, are you ridiculous? I mean, are you kidding? This is ridiculous. So they literally just erased that and sent the same note in. And then Tesla said, it's too late. Basically, the time has elapsed for to excuse your leave. So, I mean, we have all this in email. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it sounds like they just wanted to screw you, so they just figured out a way to have a discrepancy, because that's absolutely ridiculous what they did.
Right, and I called that company that deals with these requests, and I reached some doctor who was the head of the whole thing, and she said she'd call me back. So I wait for this call, never get it back. I call them again, and I get some other lady, and she was, completely dismissive, hung up the phone. It's like, am I in the twilight zone? Granted, the whole time I was working for Tesla, I sacrificed 10 to 15% of my paycheck every pay day to stocks, to the employee stocks. I never got any of that back. And I got fired 1 month before I was supposed to get my stocks that have vested for a year. So it's all highly coincidental.
Oh my God. That's well, what course of action do you have now? Like, is there anything you can do as far as a wrongful fire? I mean, obviously, if you're looking into litigation, you probably can't talk about that right now. But like, what course of action do you have within your rights, if anything?
Well, I'll say luckily I recorded all the key moments that kind of incriminating Tesla, and I decided to file a lawsuit, mainly disability and wrongful termination and retaliation, because I haven't been able to get a job since I got fired from Tesla. And these companies want me, so I go to these interviews and we do all these, get really far in the process, and then something happens, and they're like, "Thank you for your interest." So, retaliation and disability. We filed with the EEOC. Tesla didn't answer my plea for mediation for settlement, so we had to file with the EEOC, and the EEOC is currently investigating the case right now, and I'm waiting to hear back.
Well, I wish you all the luck in the world. It's absolutely terrible what they did to you, and that's just. I mean, I think it just really speaks to the kind of company they are. Now
Yeah.
you said you were really flying the Tesla flag, so let me ask you, before we get into some other topics in regards to the company, did you once have a different idea of Tesla as a company, and then was it soured for you? I mean, like, kind of emotionally, what was that process like?
Yeah, it was it's just soul destroying. I mean, because you kind of see this holy grail of a company you're led to believe. And, even when my dad was like really into it, we come from, West Africa, and solar was something that we were really interested in, because there's a lot of deaths in villages where we come from, because they still use kerosene. So I was really thinking like, oh, I'm going to me and Tesla are going to work together to provide solar infrastructure to these countries that need it to save lives, and this and that. And I was like, Elon Musk is the one, blah, blah, blah. And just to first get the call from Tesla to come work for them out of the blue, that elation, and then to arrive at the company and see how it's run by people that don't even know anything about the product and are so oriented towards money. And it's really not what people think it is. And there's a lot of people who are just looking for that idol. We're just so iconoclastic that it's sickening. and my eyes have been, cleaned out. I can see clearly now, and it's the scary place. Yeah.
So when people
Clicky.
say that, like, oh, Elon Musk is doing all these amazing things for the environment, is that, from your perspective, pretty much just a facade?
Yeah, especially if you think about it, it's a high-end product that well-off people can afford, and there's so much damage occurs to the earth and its production, like the mining, and how the earth's scarred for thousands of years after those excavations, and the labor that goes into there, the slave labor. It's really not what people think it is. And you look at emissions around the world. Has Tesla really lowered emissions around the world? I would say not. They've probably increased it because of all the production demands. So it's just kind of a facade. That's what I would say.
Wow. So getting into this news story here, where these people were fired for drafting a letter. Um, so how is that experience? Like when you saw this in the news today, how did you feel like, oh, this kind of mirrors what I went through?
It's surprising that it's so similar, especially the performance bonuses right before you're fired. It points to a lack of cohesion in management at Tesla, and it seems like somebody's sending out emails saying do this, do that the next day, at a whim. And it's Elon. Me working there, I just saw the erratic change of pace and the erratic change of ideas from the leadership. And yeah, it's definitely, he just thinks of something and he just does it. So regardless of your history.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
So basically, like, the way he runs Twitter, like he was running Tesla the same way.
Yeah.
Because it's just like he's just yeah, like he just makes it up as he goes along, and it's just whatever's just on his mind, he just does that, and he doesn't think it through. He doesn't, like, he just is like, we're gonna do this, like.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. Whatever's the most pressing thing at the moment, everybody all hands on deck. If you can't make it, you're kicked off the ship, kind of thing. Like before I got let go, I arrived to work after a freaking 40-minute drive, and when I arrived, my boss was like, "Oh, we need help at another place because there's a lack of employees." And I wasn't feeling well that day, and I was like, "Can't anybody else go?" It's like, "No, you're the only one, and this order comes from the leadership." It was like really targeted. And what do you mean there's a lack of employees? That was before the firings as well, And I just drove there after my driving ban had just expired from the seizures, and I was just like, I can't do that. And then the next day I get fired. So it's ridiculous. It is.
So
and you can see it's kind of unfolding for Elon.
Well, yeah. So where, like from a big picture standpoint, how do you see all this ending? Because it's like you mentioned the stocks. I mean, Tesla's stock is going down. And a lot of people, I think, have a lot of people are never fans of Musk to begin with. But I think there's also like a huge subset of people that just have a completely different view of this guy now, with everything from Twitter to stuff going on with Tesla. Where do you see this ending?
I always predicted that Elon Musk would completely leave Tesla, separate himself from it completely, and probably head to space with whatever endeavor he's going to choose to go with, whatever it is. But he's going to leave Cyberlink. He's going to leave Tesla, and he's going to sell it to make even more money, to fund something that's way more expensive, and probably. So he's always just chasing the money. He fired a bunch of people that I knew at the same time, and we all got hired at the same time. So that means all of our stocks were about to vest within a month. So he just saved a bunch of money firing all these people, and then he bought Twitter right after I got fired. So it's like,
oh my god,
it's right in your face. Yeah, it's really,
That
how
is
did he get away
so
with this?
it's like,
Yeah,
oh, wow. Because he's
yeah.
one of the lords and we're the serfs, man. This is nuts.
It's crazy. And then all these people are worshiping him. And, I say one thing on Twitter. I don't have a Twitter account. I made one just to say one thing at Elon Musk. And I got called a bot, like a billion times. I deleted my Twitter account because it's just, he's worshipped. And, the saddest thing is that I got let go and I needed that medical insurance because I can't sign up. I'm not able to sign up for anything right now because of my conditions. I even tried to enroll last week, and they found out about the seizures, and they won't cover the medication, and I have to wait a year for it just to enact. And it's just it's sad. It's brutal.
So you haven't, have you been, are you currently with health insurance or are you currently without?
I haven't been with health insurance since they fired me. Nobody will really cover my conditions because they're intertwined between my heart and the seizures. So it scares them. Every time I mention it, they ask me how many seizures I've had during the year, and when I had the second seizure in June, I'm in debt like $70,000 from that one experience. And that's why they fired me, I believe, because the numbers were just too much for them to take.
Yeah, they didn't want to cover your health insurance, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so evil. That's just so, I mean, well, and this is how he gets away with it too. All these things are connected. How does someone like an Elon Musk and a Jeff Bezos, how do they get away with what they get away with? Well, one of the ways they get away with it is because healthcare is tied to a job in this country. So that makes it so easy for you to exploit people.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's really the dark side of, and a lot of people haven't experienced this side. So they just say, oh, it can't be. They're just making it up. It's brutal. And I hope people don't experience it because you're left out in the cold. You're just used as a prop, you just feel used. You spend all your life's energy selling this product and you devote your cash to that stock and they take everything from you. Crazy.
So
United States a corporation.
Yeah, no kidding. Where can people go to help your cause, basically? I mean, I know you're trying to get the word out. Like, do you have anything online people can go to? Is there anywhere you want to point people to learn more or to help?
I do have a GoFundMe that Jordan coached me to making. He made me realize about this. So I started a GoFundMe. I can send you the link or something like that, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Just we'll drop it. We'll drop it in the chat if you wanna. Yeah, if you wanna send it over, Colin, we'll put it in the chat and we'll announce it here. Link. Okay, the link's in the description. We already got the GoFundMe. All right.
Oh, sweet. Technology.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm terribly sorry to hear what you're going through. It is nothing short of criminal what they're doing, and hopefully we keep fighting for a better tomorrow. So stuff like this never happens, and hopefully things we're able to resolve things here and get you what you need, because this is just so beyond messed up what these people are doing. They're predators.
Yeah, they are. And I really appreciate you having me on tonight. Thank you very much.